of our interest is to serve. We just truly just love to serve in all capacities. And to go to the point of actually starting a ministry, which actually it started way before the ministry grew to where it is, because back when I was at Promised Land, we was making CDs and tapes, and well, they were tapes then, and whenever I went out and preach or did anything, we always went on the Truth Life Ministries. And it's interesting that, but it followed us, so God hadn't birthed it yet into a reality of being a set apart ministry. So even when I got my first pastoral appointment, got voted in, but even then, we actually went into the church and still had our ministry going. So when I did something outside of the church, we still used Truth Life Ministries whenever we went to preach or had tapes and things. And it's interesting because that brought some serious insight, because at the church that we were at, we had Truth Life Ministries, and they kind of had issues with that, in regards to going out and doing things, and even the name Truth Life Ministries, because even though I never associated it with the church had came to me and started having a disagreement about, they said, we're not a ministry. And I really had to explain to them at that time, it was not anything done under the church name or anything to that capacity. But I hope as a church, you are a ministry, because ultimately we have to be a ministry, whether it's a large church. If you do not have ministry in your church, then you're not reaching anyone. You're not getting out. So they didn't quite fully understand what ministry meant. And a lot of times in the church, we don't understand, especially because we get so focused on the small aspect of it. But God, in His leading and guiding us to bigger things, had ministries in our vocabulary from the beginning. And then as it moved along, He said, now it's time to launch, to get a facility, to get a building, to step out and be able to touch others that won't go to a normal church or a regular church and things of that capacity. Because we really strong on teaching and getting people to understand and grow. Our ministry is about helping others grow and reach their full potential. So I move along real fast. But so in essence, all of that comes back to the point of, as far as entrepreneurship and vision, when God gave it to us, and the thing about an entrepreneur, even when they take on a task or they're forming a new business, they have to have initiative, and it has to be some risk involved. So you have to have initiative and risk, and a lot of times because of fear, we don't reach out and take risks. We don't have initiative to go beyond our comfort zone. And that's the same way it is with the ministry, because in all actuality, the ministry, and I remember our grandfather in the gospel used to say it all the time, the church, if you got two legs and one of them cut off or one of them is short, then you're going to do a lot of limping. You're going to be walking around limping. Everybody's like, what's wrong with you? So if you don't have the spiritual and business aspect of ministry together, then something is going to go lacking. As bad as I hate to say it, and I know some people, especially in church, don't like to talk about it, but if you have to have the business aspect, or the ministry can't go forward. And even when the Bible said money answers for all things, the reality is it requires that in order to get it out to the masses. So we had a vision, and God gave it to us, and He never let it die. And because He never let it die, He kept the passion rolling inside of us, because it's all about serving. And when you serve enough people, then God will bless you accordingly.
In reference to God's vision, we must understand that whatever we do in every area of our lives, we must have, as Christians and as those of us who say we're following God to do things and following God's vision, we must have God as our focus. And we must trust Him. We must have trust in God. We must have communication with Him, and understand that as you take risk, many times it takes us to fail at having our situations fail for us to keep our focus. So understand that as an entrepreneur and as doing ministry, everything may not work out the way it should or you want it to work out, only because God is teaching us how to stay focused on Him. and teaching us how to not give up. Many things that happen as we try to have this initiative to go forth and continue with the passion. The enemy is going to try to attack, and different things are going to happen. But the true test is, will you ever give up? And trust and believe as you embark on entrepreneurship, as you embark on ministry. Again, failures happen, but everybody that you see that is successful in anything has probably first failed, because failure teaches us lessons on how to succeed. And so, but the point of the matter is, and the true test is to, no matter if it works out the way you think it should work out or not, we should always stay focused, and we should never give up on the vision that God has given us.